Tonight in Nigeria, thousands of women will go to sleep believing they are building a future with the man they love. They believe the promises. They believe the plans.
Oh my gosh.
They believe the words about marriage, about family, about forever. But for many of them, something unexpected is already waiting. A silence, a disappearance, a moment when the phone stops ringing, when the messages stop replying, when the man who promised everything suddenly becomes impossible to find. And when that moment arrives, the woman is left holding more than just unanswered questions. She is left holding a child, and a label society will give her before anyone asks what really happened. Baby mama. 2 words, simple, casual. But behind those words are stories most people never hear. Stories of promises that were never meant to be kept.
I know.
Stories of men who vanished without explanation. Stories of women who woke up one morning and realized the future they believed in never existed at all. And the truth behind this culture is far darker than most people are willing to admit. Welcome to True Crime with Donbruno, a place where we uncover the dark realities behind real stories people rarely talk about. Stories of broken promises, hidden truths, and lives changed forever. Tonight, we're looking at a reality that exists quietly across Nigeria. A reality behind a label many people use casually, but few people truly understand. This is the truth about baby mama culture in Nigeria. There is a word that can destroy a woman's life in a single moment. In Nigeria, it's only 2 words: baby mama. It sounds casual, almost harmless. Sometimes people even laugh when they say it. But behind that label are stories that rarely get told. Stories of women who once believed they were building a future. Women who trusted the wrong promises. Women who woke up one morning and realized something terrifying. The man who helped create their child had disappeared. No marriage, no responsibility, no explanation, just a child, and a new identity the world would give them: baby mama. But the truth about this culture is darker than most people realize. Because behind the jokes and social media gossip, there are lives quietly falling apart.
This is blowing up.
Most of these stories begin the same way. Not with tragedy, with love, a normal relationship, late-night phone calls, promises whispered during quiet moments, plans about the future, sometimes even promises of marriage. For Ada, it started with a man named Femi. He was confident, successful, the kind of man who made people believe everything he said.
How could I forget the sunset?
He told Ada she was different from other women. He told her he wanted to settle down. He talked about children, about building a family, about a life together. And for a while, Ada believed every word.
Of course. I can't believe this is happening. I'm going to be a single mom. How can I do this alone? I'm scared. What if I can't handle it?
Pregnancy has a strange way of revealing the truth. When Ada told Femi she was pregnant, she expected excitement,
What is it?
Look,
maybe fear,
it's positive.
but still support. Instead, she saw something else in his eyes. Panic, not joy, not responsibility, just panic. Femi didn't shout. He didn't argue. He simply said something that would echo in Ada's mind for years. This is not the right time. 3 days later, his phone stopped working. His apartment was empty. And the man who promised marriage had vanished completely. Ada had just entered a world she didn't understand yet. The world of single motherhood. Lie on social media. The word baby mama often looks glamorous. Pictures of celebrities, luxury lifestyles, designer clothes, expensive vacations. But those stories are the exception. For most women, becoming a baby mama doesn't come with wealth. It comes with silence. Suddenly, friends stop calling. Family members begin asking difficult questions. Neighbors whisper, people judge. And the woman who once believed she was loved begins carrying the weight of a label she never planned for. The reality of single motherhood is rarely shown online. Hospital bills, rent, food, school fees, responsibility that never pauses. Many women work 2 jobs just to survive. Some sell food on the street during the day. Some braid hair at night.
Cleaning to make ends meet. Each night, the same routine, a struggle for dignity.
Some take any work they can find, because the child still needs to eat. The child still needs clothes. The child still needs school. And in many cases, the father has disappeared completely.
Mommy, where's Daddy?
He's at work, sweetie. He'll be back soon.
But why is he always at work?
He works hard for us so we can have nice things.
Every single mother eventually faces the same moment. The moment a child asks a question no one can easily answer. Where is my father? It usually comes unexpectedly. During dinner, during a school event, while watching other children with their parents. And when that moment arrives, the room suddenly feels smaller. Because how do you explain abandonment to a child? How do you describe someone who chose to leave? Some mothers create stories. Some say the father traveled, some stay silent. But the question never truly disappears. One of the darkest truths about baby mama culture is rarely discussed. Some men walk away easily. They move to another city, start another relationship, tell another woman the same promises about love, about marriage, about building a family, and the cycle repeats. Because disappearing is often easier than responsibility. But behind the heartbreak is something else. Strength. Women who wake up every morning knowing the responsibility is theirs alone. Women who refuse to give up. Women who fight for their children even when the world judges them. They work, they sacrifice, they protect, and they raise children who may one day change the society that once labeled their mothers. The truth about baby mama culture in Nigeria is uncomfortable. It is not just about relationships. It is about responsibility, about broken promises, about a society that often blames the woman while ignoring the man who walked away. And until those conversations become honest, the stories will continue. Different names, different cities, the same ending. Somewhere tonight in Nigeria, a woman will tell a man she is pregnant. She will expect support, maybe even happiness. But somewhere else, another man is already planning his escape. Because the story you just heard is not rare. It is happening again, right now, in another apartment, in another city, where another woman still believes the man beside her will stay. For many women, the disappearance doesn't happen suddenly. Sometimes it begins with small changes. The arguments start. Calls become shorter. Messages take longer to reply. The warmth that once existed slowly fades. Ada noticed this weeks before Femi vanished.
We need to talk.
He became
about this.
distant, less interested in conversations.
But we have to.
Whenever the pregnancy was mentioned, he changed the topic.
Please.
No.
At first, she told herself it was stress, maybe work pressure, maybe fear about becoming a father. But deep down, something felt wrong.
I love these quiet.
Because the man who once spoke confidently about their future now avoided even the simplest conversations.
You make me whole.
And sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. Sooner or later, families always find out. And that moment can be another turning point. For some women, their families become support systems. But for others, the reaction is very different. Questions come first. Where is the father?
We love you.
Are you sure he will marry you?
I don't know what to do.
Why didn't you see this coming? Each question feels like a small wound, because the woman herself is still trying to understand what happened. Ada remembered the day she told her mother. The room became quiet, not angry, just heavy. Her mother sighed slowly, because deep down, she already understood something Ada was still struggling to accept. Femi was not coming back. The first night after the realization can feel overwhelming. The apartment feels quieter than usual. Memories appear everywhere. The empty side of the bed, the chair where he used to sit, the conversations that once filled the room. Ada sat by the window that night, staring at the streetlights outside. Cars passed occasionally. People walked by. Life continued as if nothing had changed. But inside her world, everything had shifted. Because for the first time, she understood that the future she imagined was gone. Once the label appears, it can follow a woman everywhere. Baby mama. Sometimes people say it casually. Sometimes they whisper it quietly. Sometimes they say it directly. But the effect is the same. The woman becomes defined by a single moment in her life. Not her dreams, not her character, not her sacrifices, just the label. And labels can shape how society treats people. They can open doors or close them completely. As the pregnancy grows, reality becomes harder to ignore. Medical appointments, preparing for childbirth, planning for expenses. Ada began calculating everything. How much money she had, how long it would last, what work she could continue doing. Every decision suddenly carried more weight, because she wasn't just thinking about herself anymore. She was thinking about a child who would soon depend on her completely. When the day finally arrived, Ada was lying in a small hospital room surrounded by nurses. The pain came in waves. Hours passed slowly, and with every moment she felt something strange. Strength. Because despite everything that had happened, she had made it this far.
Welcome to the world.
And when the
little
baby
one.
finally cried for the first
She's a strong
time,
one. You're doing great.
something inside Ada changed. The fear was still there. The uncertainty was still there. But something else appeared too. A fierce determination. Because now there was someone else depending on her. Life after childbirth brings a new set of challenges. Sleepless nights, constant attention, new expenses, but also moments of unexpected joy. The first smile, the first time the baby recognizes your voice, the small moments that remind a mother why she keeps going even when life becomes difficult. For Ada, these moments became fuel, because every sacrifice suddenly had meaning. Years pass quickly when raising a child. Babies become toddlers, toddlers become school children, and with each passing year, responsibilities grow. School fees, Uniforms, books, food, transportation. The pressure never fully disappears, but neither does the determination, because many single mothers understand something powerful. They are not just raising children, they are shaping futures. The strength of single mothers often goes unnoticed. They wake up early, work long hours, solve problems quietly, and continue moving forward even when exhaustion becomes overwhelming. This quiet courage rarely appears in headlines, but it exists everywhere. In markets, in offices, in homes across cities and villages. Women doing whatever it takes to ensure their children have a chance at a better life.
I love these quiet moments with you.
Me too, Mommy.
Over time, perspectives slowly begin to shift. People start seeing the dedication, the sacrifices, the resilience. And sometimes the label that once felt heavy begins to lose its power.
Great day, sweetie.
Because strength has a way of rewriting stories. What once looked like failure can become survival. What once looked like shame can become courage.
There. All tidy.
Looking back years later, many single mothers describe a complicated journey. Painful beginnings, difficult struggles, but also personal growth.
There.
They learn independence, they learn resilience, they learn how strong they truly are. And while the path was never planned, it becomes part of who they are. The truth about baby mama culture in Nigeria cannot be captured in a single story. It is a collection of thousands of lives, thousands of struggles, thousands of acts of resilience. And somewhere tonight, another story is beginning. Another woman is falling in love. Another promise is being made.
How could I forget
Another
sunset
future
with
is
red
being
lights?
imagined.
And that tiny
No one
cafe
knows how that story will end.
Just like this one. I'm
But
so
one
glad
thing
we did.
remains certain.
this old sign.
Behind every label, there is always a human story waiting to be understood.
There,
If
all
this
back.
story made you think, if it opened your eyes to a reality many people choose not to see, then the conversation shouldn't end here. Because behind every label like baby mama is a real human story. A story filled with choices, consequences, and lives forever changed.
Let me just fix this strap.
What do you think about this culture?
There we go.
Is society too quick to judge the women while ignoring the men who walk away? Or is there a deeper problem we still refuse to
okay,
talk
though.
about?
Mommy's here.
Share your thoughts in the comments.
Breathe.
Your voice matters in this discussion.
It hurts so much.
And if you want more dark, real-life stories that reveal the truths many people avoid, subscribe to True Crime with Donbruno, because the next story might be even more disturbing than this one.